Welcome back, everyone. And yes, we drew 2-2 to Spurs, and it's been a while since I made a video like this, but I put out a few shorts to, keep you guys updated and, of course, to keep you guys informed. But we are back, we are here, and we are 5 games unbeaten, which is something that is really, really positive because we have to look at the positives. These are the things that help us build and grow into a strong team that will be able to compete at the top in terms of the Premier League and of course the Champions League. For me, I certainly was impressed in the first half with the performance, but in the second half you could see that there were issues finally coming into what we are trying to do. You could see that the team was slowing down, they were getting tired, and that is why Ruben Amorim made the changes that he did. And arguably, the changes did affect us in the second half, like it has been doing when we played against Brighton, and of course when we played against Nottingham Forest, and now more noticeably against Spurs. So there has been a pattern whenever we are in the second half and we seem to slow down, we seem to not be as aggressive in terms of how we press, in terms of the space that we are trying to deny against the opponents, and that kind of falters away in the second half. And you could clearly see against Brighton, against Nottingham Forest, and against Spurs, in the second half, we concede goals in quick succession. Not one, but two. And it happened 3 occasions, 3 games in a row. And that certainly is a problem. That loss of concentration in those moments is costing us points. Now, yes, against Brighton, we did, score 2 extra goals and eventually got the 3 points. But that lack of concentration, conceding goals that can be prevented. Because let's be honest, the goals against Spurs could have been prevented. But again, we didn't prevent it. We made, I would say, errors that led to these goals. And let's be honest, I first want to talk about Spurs' goals before I focus more on the likes of Mbeumo and Matthias de Ligt, of course. We know the performance that he put in, Casemiro as well, Ahmad, I'll talk about that in quick succession as well. But I want to focus on the goals that Spurs scored. The first goal that they scored, again, it's a cross that comes in, and we are not basically settled, if I have to put it that way, because the ball is played on the ground in a cutback. Matty's tail gets the ball, has a wonderful first touch to turn, and his shot is deflected off Matthias de Ligt. And again, not just Lemens, but no keeper would be able to save that particular shot that was deflected. And it was 2-1, 1-1 at that point. I swear that the dogs that are nearby me certainly choose the perfect time to make a noise. So I had to just basically work that out, kind of quieten them down. But anyway, that's just normal people problems. Nevertheless, as I was saying, Matthias de Ligt did all he could in order to stop the shot, but it deflected and it went in. But it was the cross that could have been stopped. It's the play before that. If we were as aggressive as we were in the first half, Spurs don't get the space and the opportunity to cross that ball in. And that is why we conceded that first goal. The second goal, again, I do think that is a shot from Odegaard, and Richarlison was just, in a position to basically flick it on, and it basically went into the corner. I mean, an absolutely comedic celebration, because at that point, 91 minutes, he did think that he scored the winner. I mean, I think a few United fans also thought that he scored the winner. I mean, I was certainly quite upset that we ended up bottling a lead, because we did deserve to win that game. We played the better football, we had the better opportunities, but again, 5 minutes in a lapse of concentration, and we basically drop points, and that does cause us issues. But it is something we can work on. It's not something that is, how can I say, easily fixed, but it's something that can be improved upon. And you can say it can be improved upon with players, it can be improved upon with more training, in terms of getting more used to Ruben Amorim's system and what he expects from each and every single player, and of course as the team as a whole. But I was impressed with the way we played in terms of the first half. I was really, really impressed. Casemiro was the most important player in terms of what he was doing, shielding the back three, stepping into the back three when Matthijs de Ligt pushes up in order to keep with his man. You know, he's ensuring that the spaces that Spurs want to find in midfield was not there. There was a very good moment where Van de Ven wanted to run with the ball from box to box, and Casemiro stopped him dead in his tracks. Casemiro has been one of the best performers of the season for us thus far, and again against Spurs, he was taken off because of fatigue. He is 33, you know, he doesn't have the legs that he used to have, but what he gives us for 60 minutes plus in a game is really, really important. And once he came off, Ugarte didn't give us that confidence and that leadership in midfield. Yes, he was very good in terms of tackling, you know, in terms of keeping the ball, but he doesn't provide us what that midfield solidity that Casemiro does give us. There was a difference of us in the way we played in the second half. But as I said, 5 games unbeaten is something that is positive, something we need to take stock of. Because the first part of the season, I would say that we didn't play well. We didn't do well. We were losing. We weren't performing well. And there were a lot of questions on Ruben Amorim and his future. But fast forward, we now have Bryan Mbeumo, who's the player of the month for October and arguably is the best player in the Premier League right now. You have Ruben Amorim, who basically has improved the team, and we are now 5 games unbeaten. 3 wins, 2 draws. And yes, we could have won against Nottingham Forest. We could have won against Spurs. But the important thing is we didn't lose. That is very important, because last season we were losing for fun. It didn't even look like the players wanted to win. And you could say that we threw away the season in hopes of winning the Europa League. That never worked. So that basically was a failure of the season. But we are much more stronger right now. We are improving. We are a much better team going forward. We are defending quite well in terms of the goals that we concede. It's not consistent pressure that we face. It's just moments in terms of a lapse of concentration that causes us these issues. And we do need to work on that. And I'm sure Ruben Amorim and the team will work on it. But right now, Matthijs de Ligt has been the most solid player for us. Yes, Mbeumo has been performing up front, giving us what we need in terms of the attack. But de Ligt at the back has been absolutely rock solid and scored the equalizer at that. Lemens came from his goal to come and be in the box to try and cause a nuisance, and it did cause a nuisance because de Ligt was free at the back post and he headed in, and it was 2-2 at that moment. We did continue to press after that to try and get the winner. So I am impressed with the fact that we are not losing games and we're showing mental strength in order to come back when we are behind. And when we do go behind, we tend to not completely crumble. We don't completely capitulate. We simply stay calm, we stay focused, and we end up getting our rewards. And that was shown against Brighton. It was shown against Nottingham Forest. It was shown against Spurs. So there definitely is a change in the mentality. But we are not the finished article. We are not a Liverpool. Well, not the Liverpool right now with how they are losing games. And of course, we know they lost to City. But we are not at the level yet, or a team yet, that is ready to compete at the top. We do still have issues that we need to improve upon. And these things will and can be improved upon. But I'm okay with a draw. It was a good result. But the most important thing is that we are 5 games unbeaten. And that can continue after the international break, because our games are a bit more favorable in terms of difficulty getting 3 points. It looks more like we can get more 3 points after the international break and see where we end up before Christmas, after Christmas, and of course when that transfer window hits in January for the second part of the season. But you let me know who was your man of the match. For me, it was Matthijs de Ligt. Bryan Mbeumo, of course, arguably up there as well for it, but I think Matthijs de Ligt for me was the man of the match. I didn't even mention Lemens. I mean, he again had another strong performance, but again, it shows you how comfortable and how calm I am with having Sene Lemens in goal. But we'll see each other again in the next one. So have a wonderful day further. Bye-bye, Red Devils. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.